I know I am a little late to the game on this show, but I just finished Untamed a few days ago and I had to share my thoughts. Untamed was one of those Netflix shows that I put a request in for a screener and well in advance. And they finally granted it to me, but like 2 or 3 days before it was supposed to premiere. And I had no time to watch it and get a review done. And I was getting ready to go out of town. So I just got around to watching it and I finished it last Friday. Today is the 25th. And excuse my dog. I really enjoyed this show. I do recommend it if you are fans of mystery stories, crime / detective investigation things. This one takes place in an interesting setting. It's in Yosemite, so not your normal sort of backdrop. It stars Eric Bana. He plays a park ranger who is investigating a supposed murder. Someone has gone off of El Capitan, and when they went over the edge, they ended up getting tangled up with people that were already climbing it. So that's like the opening scene. And it was one of the most startling opening scenes that I've seen in a bit, because it was just such an unusual scenario and situation, and the way it was filmed and edited, very impressive. So anyway, Eric Bana is investigating this mystery. And it also stars Sam Neill and a couple of other people that I don't remember their names, but I was equally as impressed with their performances as I was with the performance of Eric Bana. This is probably one of the best things I've ever seen him in. But then again, maybe it's also because it's been a while since I've seen him in something. I was just very, very awed by his performance. It was quite touching. So anyway, this startling opening scene, it sets the tone for this unusual investigation. And you're introduced to the characters. Eric plays the character of Kyle. He's very brooding. He's kind of rough around the edges, sort of a rogue type of park ranger. He isolates himself a lot. He's drinking a lot. And his behavior hints at some sort of deep trauma, something that has happened that is haunting him. And his relationship with his ex-wife, Jill, it's not antagonistic. You can tell that they still care for each other very much, but their relationship has been fractured. And it's very emotional still because of a shared trauma that they both have. It's gut-wrenching, this thing that they went through and that they dealt with, and they're still dealing with it. Now, their marriage is over, and so they're not involved that way anymore. She has married and moved on, but not really. You can tell throughout the course of multiple episodes that she really hasn't moved on emotionally from what happened. I really liked their character arcs in here, especially. There is a scene where they're talking together in his vehicle, and that was very moving to me. There were multiple times that I was extremely touched by what I was watching, just because of certain elements that I can identify with to a degree. Obviously, not everything, but it was performed in such an authentic manner that I couldn't help but feel very, very connected with both of those characters. I also liked the character of Vasquez. That's her last name. She is assigned to work with him, or somehow they end up working together, and she's kind of a newbie to the area. She's just moved there. She's got her own sort of backstory that is touched on multiple times throughout the episodes. And so she's kind of like learning as she goes along. She's a little new to, well, obviously to that location. So she's got a bit of, adjustments that she has to make with their environment, like riding on horses and going to really isolated places. I thought that the inclusion of this real life park was pretty interesting. And also throughout the course of the show, there's different things that you see, or different things that's mentioned, brought up, little interesting trivia stuff about nature or the park or whatever. One of the bits of trivia that was mentioned was that it's a misconception that vultures circle the dead. Well, I had no idea about this. Thought that was kind of interesting. Excuse me while I bring my coffee around. Anyway, it was done in such a way that it felt very authentic. The setting, obviously, and I do not know where they filmed this. Maybe they did film it in Yosemite. Maybe they didn't. I've never been there, so I wouldn't know, but I enjoyed the environment. I enjoyed the characters, enjoyed the performances. Like I said, super impressed with Eric Bana's performance. So I savored the experience. I paced my viewing so that it wouldn't end too fast. It's not a very long series. It's only about 6 episodes, and each episode is like roughly 45 minutes-ish. So it's not a super huge commitment. I did find out while I was watching it that it has already been renewed for season 2. No idea when it's going to come out, but I'm looking forward to that already. And, even though I couldn't watch this before it premiered, I'm really glad that I went ahead and took the time. I like to watch things before they come out so that I can get my thoughts ready, my reviews done, and all of that. So I was kind of bummed that I couldn't get around to this one, and I didn't jump on it as soon as it became available. But even though I'm kind of late to the game on this one, I'm still glad I took the time to watch it. And like I said, I enjoyed it so much that I just had to talk about it with you guys. I know some of you have already seen it because I've been talking about it online in different places. There's just a few criticisms I have about it. They certainly weren't enough to make me dislike the show, or it wasn't enough to really turn me off of it. One of those things was there's a moment in here where they're doing facial matching or facial recognition on 2 separate pictures, but the age disparity between the people in those pictures makes me question how accurate this facial recognition really could be. I don't know. I'm not an expert in this, and I know it's kind of advanced, but is it really that advanced that it can match a full-grown adult with a very young child that's like still growing and developing? And when I say very young, I mean like probably less than 10. So I don't know. That was definitely not enough. None of these were enough to annoy me, but just things that jumped out at me. Another thing was the typical conveniences that happened with someone being exactly in the right place when they need to be. That happened multiple times. Also, being able to just magically notice that someone had dug in the clay by the bank of the river in this location that to me seems like it would be really hard to spot. Now, granted, this person was tracking somebody, but the chances that they came upon this and just deduced what they did, I had to suspend a little bit of disbelief when that happened. And those other moments, like I said, of just being able to miraculously find someone at this exact right moment in order to save them from something that's getting ready to happen. It wasn't just once that happened too. It was at least 2 or 3 times. And so I was like, I don't know about that. Then the other thing, the predictability of who the killer was. As soon as this person showed up in the first episode, I said to myself, Self, that's the killer. And it was. And this was one of the things that aggravated one of my brothers because he predicted the same thing. And he was like, oh, it's so predictable. And that kind of, it got under his skin. It didn't bother me enough to make me not enjoy the ride. I still highly recommend this show. But it was a little disappointing that it didn't take me by surprise, that I was able to predict this thing or other things too. So it follows certain patterns like what we're used to. And the mystery of the killing, even though I figured out who it was as soon as I saw this person, I didn't really obviously understand all the intricacies and the backstory. And then that is revealed as you go along. I am bummed that it didn't surprise me, but the journey was so enjoyable. I can't say it's a non-issue, but is definitely not an issue that is strong enough for me to say this show was bad or it had too many cons to it. I can't say that. I do recommend it. And I'm hoping that it doesn't take too long before season 2 comes around. Yeah, check it out just for Eric Bana's performance alone if you really like him. I mean, I like him. I've always liked him, but I have a deeper appreciation for his performance as an actor after having watched this. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say about Untamed for now, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Let me know what you guys think if you've seen it. All right, bye.